We are back on the Model A. Today's plan, I want to pull the motor, finish up the few bits on the motor. We got to change out this pulley. Well, I got to make that idler work, which is up in this vicinity. I want to wrap the headers. I want to get some paint on the firewall. I want to tighten up my brake lines and my fittings. I believe they're all going to be good, but I don't have the bits to do my pedals yet. Like, I'll have to scavenge and figure something out. My clutch is just a little rod, and my master cylinder is just a big hole in there. So we have to make a few bits or a few things to make that all work. Not that big of a deal, but I don't know if I'll get to that this round. For now, like I say, I'm pretty happy with everything here. I want to wrap that, paint that, make that bracket, change this bracket so I can do that idler. And reminds me, I got to order a throttle cable. I do not have. I have to make something up. But basically get a whole lot of fittings tightened up on the motor and all that jazz. So we're, basically I want to get this thing all apart, back in. I just had this thing ratchet strapped, but I want to actually fix up the mount like I wanted to. And then I'd like to splash, like have some paint on here, but I'd like to just get all the edges all painted and stuff like that. By painted, I'm just going to rattle can it. That'll be good enough. And then I can kind of bolt everything in place and get all the fenders bolted on, and you know, it's just a complete unit and done. That's the plan. So first things first, I guess I'll tear all this stuff off the front here. My forklift should be charged, and then we'll yank this motor out, and then that way I can get this clutch figured out. I have to deal with this thing, so I need to get this in. I need to get my clutch in there. I have things just loosely bolted up right now, but I need to actually get the clutch in there and the slave cylinder, and then we can figure out the plumbing and connecting the bits, and then we can, you know, down the road figure out how to bleed them and things like that. Alrighty, well, game plan. Let's get going. All right, well, clutch is on, everything's in. Haven't bolted it up just yet. I did a quick measurement, and I don't really know the best way to do it, but I kind of just went fleshy flush off the fingers here, which gets me 3 3/4. So that's kind of what I went with here. I think it's about an 1/8 inch difference, but as soon as I put a second shim in, I think these are all the same size, it'll end up contacting it or like sitting on it, like actually putting pressure. So I don't really want that. So I don't know, I might play with it a little bit more, but yeah, we're a little bit, basically, once that is done, I got these lines snug. This one, like I say, is going to go up in the firewall somewhere. I'll have to make a tab or a mount for that. And then in this one here, which it's got to make sure it doesn't get tangled into anything, but it's just going to come around and I'll tie it over here. And this is my bleeder for that. So yeah, I mean, this should be okay. This one, like I say, it's going to have to run something like this because I know my firewall comes down pretty tight here. So it'll probably sit somewhere here because the exhaust has got to run beside that and everything. There's just a lot happening. And then I don't even know how I'm going to deal with this thing yet, but I guess I'm just going to cut that mount off. I'll put this tranny back in, get it squared up, and then just put that other bracket on an angle. I don't know. I don't know what else you would do. I don't think they make like a wedged bracket, like a wedged motor mount or transmission mount. So anyways, I'm just continuing on. Once I get that bolted up, I'm going to tear this thing off. I have that one from Esther's car that was bad. She's had a whole bunch of bad power steering pumps. So anyways, I'm going to grab that one, rip the pump off, but I'm not going to wreck everything that I did on this one, and I'll just bolt it on, and we'll see roughly where I bolt this sucker onto the bottom of it there somewhere. Here's the greatest joy of this table. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna put the supercharger on. I want to figure out, I gotta get the belts run. So that's where I'm at right now. Clutch seems okay. I'm gonna check it again. It's against the flywheel, so I don't know if I should shim that off a little more. I'm not really, I've done it before and they've just worked. So I've never really thought too much about it, but bugger sure isn't very light. All right, I don't think it's gonna be like that much pressure that it's gonna do anything. I am pretty much just gonna see how everything fits. Let's go that way. No. All right, how do we do this? This thing goes like this, like this, like this, like that. All right, there we go. So there. See, there's where we need something. That's where I screwed up. I was trying to do it right there when I needed it right there. Just gonna get a right bolt and stuff here. I'll be right back. So technically, that'll do that. Oops. We'll just snug it on and deal with it after. It's this lower stuff. I guess I could just leave all that. It doesn't really matter. This I'll clean up a little. This one I may as well keep. I can do one bolt down there. Yeah, it doesn't look like it does a lot, but that's all it needs to not throw a belt. It needs to be simmed out a little more, but we will clean that up after. Now I'm going to work on this part. I got to build a bracket that will tie from here. Like basically I can put 2 bolts here to here and it'll stop this thing from walking away on me. From wanting to walk away. All right. Well, for that, let's just take this belt off. All right. So, a few scissors. I'm going to need some definite shimmage. Holy, eh? Will that work? I gotta imagine my belt is going to be on here, but this pulley is away. I'm going to put that back on. So that bolt sits there, but that's quite a bit of stuff in the back that's missing. I can take some of this off. There's a little spacer on here, so I can shave that down a bit, but that's pretty dang tight. I think I'm okay. As long as the belt doesn't... 3/16? Wouldn't need more than that. All right, well, here's one. Get me a pencil. Well, having a hard time with that. Well, it gets me a rough idea. See how this goes. Trying to get the right size. Survey says it's 1, 2, all right. Now we just make that out of steel. All right, this is done. Front pulley thing is all done. I am not going to put this together because I got to take the pulley, the supercharger off to put it on the car. So in the car. So I'm going to work on the headers. Going to wrap. I don't care about the other side. This side I've just have some worries. So I'm going to wrap this up. This we're going to eventually is going to go somewhere on the firewall. This, like I said before, I'm going to fasten over here. Doesn't really matter when I come to bleeding, but I'm just trying to keep everything away from the clutch inside and stuff. So that's the plan there. We're going to have to, and I'll wait till I get in the car. I'm going to tap this and put a sending unit. I don't have very good gauges, but they'll be good enough for now. As I just had, I don't even know where I got it, but I got some triple gauge dealio. So they're electric, which will be fine with whatever wiring harness I run. I did think about it because we're going to be running like I did Esther's. I'm going to actually run like a Painless wiring harness. So I went with that route because these guys, they have it, just figure out where to put all my stuff. Their stuff is rather long, and I'm going to have to run. There's no room under the hood for my computer and stuff. So this I know was long enough that I can route this into the car, and then we'll have our fuse box, our computer, and stuff like that will be all inside the car. So that's going to be a huge bonus. And then they hooked us up with a wiring harness for the car as well. So we're going to be going full painless in this one. So I haven't pulled this out or done nothing, but just to look at this, you can see we're going to have to put a decent size hole in the firewall. I guess if this is the grommet they give you, technically, it won't be that big. I'm going to put a hole like this somewhere in the firewall. I don't know where yet. I might loosely just run this on my motor when we get it in there, just to get a feel where it wants to naturally go. And then I'm going to poke it through there. A few things I'm trying to work out because I'd like to put a heater in this car. So somewhere I'm going to have to plumb. I might have to figure out a different, you know, like I might have to buy like a heater, let's put it that way, for the car. So we'll have to figure that part out. I'm not too concerned at this point, but eventually it'll probably be some underdash thing, but I do need to somehow funnel up and do some defrost and things like that. That'll be the plan. But for now, task at hand, I am wrapping headers, and we're going to scuff and shoot a coat of paint on the firewall. And then I have to still put the top together. I'll have to run some bolts and cinch that all in. So we're not doing anything fancy or glory. Like, we're not doing anything fancy. It is literally just going to get a satin black or something. This is flat. I'm going to see if I have some satin. I'm just going to do a satin paint on the firewall section, and that is about as fancy as it's going to get. Steering shaft stuff, we got to hit that all up. These are phased right. Actually, everything's pretty good with it. I think I can just weld these things right up. This part is going to get bolted onto here, so that part's going to get on there. That's going to bolt on. This doesn't have to, but I'm going to bolt it on. That one, like I say, is going to go through here. We're going to drill through and run a set screw through the whole thing so it can't possibly come apart. So that's kind of the plan with that. Anyways, let's get going. All right, header's done. I know I kind of missed some of this, but it's kind of a whole miserable situation doing this stuff. And I don't have any luck. If somebody's got tips how to do these stupid things, that'd be great. They always seem to come loose. I can never get them like super tight. Anyways, I was always told to get your headers wet, then wrap it, because it will keep it tight. When it dries, it'll be like, it'll sandwich itself on. So that's what I done. Kind of ventured a little bit, but overall the big thing was through my steering components and things like that, that I was just trying to keep some of the heat down. So that'll be okay. I'm not too happy about that, but I'm not going to rewrap it, so just is what it is. I scuffed this, shot some paint on it. Just keep realizing how terrible I am with a rattle can. My goodness. I get nothing but runs when I do stuff. I don't know why. Luckily, you're not going to see much of it, so that'll be fine. I'm going to have to come in and zap up my steering shaft, because I may as well just get that all out of the way and done. Because we're pretty close to, well, once this paint dries, I don't think there was anything else I had to do on here. I did that. I made that front pulley. This brackety thing is on. This is done. Yeah, I think I'm pretty close to dropping her in. There's a few. Yeah, I was gonna wrap this side, but I don't know. I don't think I need it unless I burn plug wires. I did make one custom one, so which the snappy end on there, I'm able to actually get it in a little bit. So I just kept cutting the boot back. So it's still rubber isolated and does everything it's supposed to do, but I was able to shorten it up. So that was kind of cool. The wires are a little on the long side, but that's okay. There's two different lengths you can get, and then these just happen to be a little bit longer, I guess. But it'll be fine. Yeah, basically I'm going to drop it on, then I'm going to go through all this. I want to do that thing. I basically will bolt the intake down like it's supposed to and never look at it again. I got to get all these fittings tight because everything is just loose. Nothing's tight. I basically got to go over the whole car and make sure stuff's tight that should be tight. But yeah, that was the fun part of shoehorning this thing back in there. Doesn't really enjoy. I'm pretty sure I can drop the tranny if I had to, but the motor's like, yeah, that's like very tight. I didn't give myself a lot of room, especially up here. It's got to like just get pried past this mount, and then we're golden after that. All right, folks, let's loosey-goosey to figure out where this thing's got to go, because we got a lot of wires. Now, I believe these are the non-emission ones, so, man, this thing's long. I could just put it anywhere I want, honestly. Like, I'll see which side is which here, but I feel like this is no big deal no matter what. This is my mass airflow. So this is going to be, and I'm probably going to run a speed density, so I'm not actually going to run like a mass airflow. Could I? There's no pressure on it. Huh. Maybe I could. I don't know. I might try it. Normally I wouldn't run a mass airflow. I would run what's called speed density, but okay, so we got here, we got our grounds. I'm just trying to figure out what side this is. Injector 8, so that's on this side. Yeah, this harness wants to be in your car. Look at this thing, the way this is all set up. This wants to go here, along this side. This is gonna be my, I don't know what that one is. This one is my map sensor, which I don't have, so this is gonna be my, I don't know what this is. Cam? I don't know. Clearly that's my one up there. This is gonna wanna go down to my starter. This is gonna be O2. Oh, this is driver's side O2. Over there, so this is passenger. Fuel pump, cool. And my knock sensors there in the middle. So this is gonna be my passenger side stuff. Yep. So yeah, I could kind of poke that hole absolutely anywhere I want, because like, look how long that harness is. This is like transmission stuff, which I'm not using, but there is. Oh. This could be like a speed sensor. Woo-hoo-hoo. So a couple of these I'm going to use. Those go down, like the speed I'm going to use. Just so, what do I even need speed for? Because I guess I'll need it eventually if I put cruise control in it. But anyways, this is here. This has got to be the driver's side stuff. 1.3 something something. Yep. Yeah, like, so you see where this is. This would be strung out on the motor, good to go. This harness is this long. I'm actually gonna have too much of it in my cab. So I could almost mount this behind my seat. Cool. Well, then I'm not too worried here. This, I'll poke the hole, but this is easily, very easily gonna fit wherever I want it to. All right, so I took the map. No, I took my master cylinder off. It's off because I realized I'd never bench bled it. So all the lines are done, that's done. I'm gonna put my headers on, and then this is I'm gonna test fit my headers, and then I'm gonna figure out where, well, mind you, if I put this, I'm trying to figure out my clutch slave. This is that steel line I had. I'm thinking it'll go back here. That way I can kind of go around the master or under the master, whatever I want to do up into here. But then it won't get in the way of my, like my exhaust won't be in the way. Does that make sense? I am just going to fit this here to make sure everything does what I want it to. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm good if I go there. It's gonna be pretty close, but if I run that up kind of behind the, yeah, okay. I don't think I need to put this on just yet. So essentially, I gotta run like I thought. I gotta run this thing pretty high up to here, but this is like a traditional brake fitting with a clip. So all I gotta do is make a little thing to go through and then stick a fork thing in there, and that's gonna work dandy. So anyways, I gotta make that other bit. I got my running boards are bolted on, done deal. They're not coming back off again. This is on, intake is down, on permanently, motor's in permanently-ish. I gotta still tighten the motor mounts, so it's not really. Transmission, I gotta do that cross member, so that's just kind of limbo. We test fit the wiring harness, and that's gonna be no problem. So that's good. We got all that. I got my bracket that I made to support this thing, or kind of brace this thing, so that's all in place. That thing worked out really well. Pretty happy with that. Like I say, I still need that one steam port dealio, but we're getting there. I've ordered a water neck that kind of shoots straight out, so I think when I do this red, I'm almost going to make these two almost like line right up, and then this thing I can kind of snake over into whatever I do there. What else am I doing? I think that's about all I'm doing tonight. I don't feel like a heck of a lot more. But we are slowly getting there. It's we're winning the battle. Things are happening. Alright, well, got a few things done. So I got this tab made in there, so our clutch line is now there. We'll be able to hose that over. I'm gonna throw the, well, I won't finish up and put the headers on yet till I kind of get those lines all run and made. But I gotta bench bleed the master. I have to make bits to go to the inside pedal assembly because we don't have any rods connecting anything in there. What else did I do? We bolted the spring down. Now I got the rad just sitting in here. I'm just trying to get a vibe how things are gonna go. I'm like, there's not a lot of room, but I'm wondering if I can cut some of that snout off. That way I can try to just get the biggest, baddest fan that I can put in there just to pull like huge, humongous amounts of air through. I mean, there's room in front if I really have to get a low profile, if we had a push fan on the front, but I'm really hoping I don't have to. I'd like to have just some kind of a mesh just to cover this up, kind of like, I don't know, I've seen Speedway sometimes sells those honeycomb kind of thing, I think for dirt track cars, but I think it would clean up and finish up the front of the car nice. I may go look on the wall, just see if I have a nicer grill, but it really doesn't look like I have anything. Like, I may as well just use this one. I think there's one or two that are not broken there though. The chrome's all shot, so we'll just have to paint it, but like that one looks really good there. Like the one beside it's pretty good too. Or I could just weld this one and call it a day. Might just do that. It doesn't matter that much to me. I'll just try to see how much of this I can strip off or something. This is something the laser doesn't do well with, so I might just try to sandblast it or just hit it with the wire wheel or do something. Because down here it's kind of junky, but like it is, well, I don't know, it's not stainless, it's clearly steel, so I could literally just put it together and weld it and it would be good enough for what it is. Anyways, I'm pretty happy where I got this round. I am thinking that's as far as we're gonna get this round. You can see I put the rad in. I've got some argons, so I'm thinking next round, although from standing here, my rad looks crooked. Like, I guess it doesn't really matter. And I guess I could push it, well, you know, I have made the mounts, but they're only tacked on. I could technically move this further ahead if I really needed to. That would just give me some room for routing hoses and stuff, and fitting a nice electric fan. But, like I said, that's for another time. So, as always, folks, I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. We're slowly pecking away. We're on the home stretch in my eyes. So, yeah, later, folks.